Ladies, let me talk to you for a second. Now, I need you to lean in real close, cause what I'm about to say might sting a little, but it's going to set you free. Stop being nicey to men. Now, hold up, don't twist what I'm saying. I ain't saying be rude, bitter, or hard-hearted. What I am saying is stop packaging yourself in kindness for people who ain't earned it. You keep showing up, over-delivering, being loyal to a man who can't even text back in full sentences. Child, what are we doing? Some of why are out here being emotional life coaches, therapists, mothers, ride or dies, and for what? For a man that treats your presence like it's optional. Nah, your love ain't a clearance sale. Stop discounting yourself so he can afford you. Being nice isn't the same as being respected. That's something every woman needs to hear, loud and clear. A lot of women have been raised to be sweet, agreeable, accommodating to smile even when something feels wrong, to go along just to keep the peace, to say it's okay when it's not. And for years, many of us have believed that if we're just nice enough, patient enough, loving enough, a man will change, step up, or finally see our worth. But let me tell you, respect doesn't come from being agreeable. It comes from being clear, from knowing your value, and from having the courage to say no when something doesn't serve you. Niceness, in the way we've been taught, often means silence. It means biting your tongue when he disrespects you. It means shrinking your voice so he feels big. It means apologizing for having emotions or needs. And you've got to ask yourself, what has all that niceness really gotten you? A man who ignores your boundaries. A man who takes without giving. A man who thinks effort is optional because you'll accept crumbs as long as he smiles. That's not love, and it definitely isn't respect. Men respect women who respect themselves. When a woman draws a line in the sand and says, I'm not tolerating this, that's when the room gets quiet. That's when the man takes notice. Respect comes from strength, not from sacrifice. It comes from speaking up, not staying silent. And if a man walks away because you refuse to play small, then let him walk. Because he wasn't staying out of love, he was staying because you made it easy. There's a difference between kindness and people-pleasing. You can be kind and still have boundaries. You can be compassionate without allowing someone to mistreat you. But too many women have been tricked into thinking that being nice is the way to keep a man. So they ignore red flags, behavior that deep down they know is wrong. All in the name of being nice, but what they're really doing is teaching that man that he can walk all over them without consequences. You've got to stop confusing niceness with goodness. Being a good woman isn't about how much you tolerate, it's about how much you refuse to. A good woman doesn't let a man use her softness as an excuse for his laziness. A good woman demands respect, not because she's harsh, but because she knows her time, energy, and heart are too precious to waste. When you realize that respect matters more than approval, everything changes. You stop giving out chances like candy. You stop hoping a man will change when he's shown you who he is. And you stop lowering your standards just to avoid being alone. Because being alone and respected beats being together and disrespected every single time. So no, being nice isn't enough. Be real, be strong, be respected. Your time and energy are valuable. That's not just a cute quote for Instagram, it's a truth too many women forget when dealing with men who haven't earned a single minute of their day. You weren't put on this earth to be a rehab center for broken men, a life coach for grown adults who refuse to grow up, or a cheerleader for someone who doesn't even show up for you. Every hour you spend overthinking a text message, every sleepless night wondering if you said too much or not enough, every ounce of love you pour into someone is you half of what you deserve. That's energy you'll never get back. And it's time to stop wasting it on men who haven't earned access to your world. The truth is, women are taught to invest early. You meet a man, and right away, you start pouring time, attention, affection, support. You want to nurture, to help, to heal. But here's the thing, if he didn't work for your loyalty, he won't value it. If he didn't earn your presence, he won't respect it. When you give too much too soon, you rob him of the chance to prove himself. You become an emotional ATM and he keeps withdrawing, never depositing anything real back into you. A lot of women get stuck in this cycle because they believe that love is about sacrifice. That if they just keep giving, eventually he'll wake up and love them back the right way. But what happens more often is you end up drained, bitter, and wondering why you're always the one holding the relationship together. That's because he never asked you to do all that he just learned that you would, and he got comfortable. It's not love if it only grows when you're the one watering it. Relationships require balance. They require effort on both sides. That's not meeting you halfway, he's leaving you behind. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your heart just because you feel a connection. Attraction isn't permission. Chemistry isn't commitment. A man has to show you through his actions, not just his words, that he's worthy of your time, that he's serious, that he's consistent, because your time is not free. Your energy is not cheap, and your heart is not some experiment for a man who doesn't even know what he wants. Start acting like your presence is a privilege, because it is. You bring value whether he recognizes it or not. And if he doesn't see it, stop trying to convince him. You don't need to perform to be loved. You don't need to prove yourself worthy. You already are. But only the man who's truly ready, truly grown, and truly intentional will treat you like the gift you are. The rest, let them go. Let them miss out. Because you're not available for men who haven't earned you anymore. You teach people how to treat you, whether you realize it or not. Every time you respond to disrespect with silence, every time you forgive without a real apology, every time you lower your standards just to keep someone around, you're teaching them what's acceptable. People don't just cross your boundaries, they learn from you where those boundaries are, and more importantly, they learn whether or not you'll enforce them. And when it comes to men, if you tolerate the bare minimum, that's exactly what you'll get if that. You see, it's not enough to say what you want. You have to stand by it. You can't say, I want consistency, then keep entertaining a man who disappears for days and pops up like nothing happened. You can't say, I want commitment, but then act like you're fine with situationships, gray areas, or endless talking stages. You can't say, I want a man who respects me, then keep letting him speak to you like your feelings don't matter. Your words are only as powerful as your actions. And the moment you accept less than what you deserve, you send a message that your standards are just suggestions. The problem is, a lot of women believe that if they just stick around long enough, or if they're patient enough, the man will eventually change and rise to meet their expectations. But let's be real, people don't change because you wait. They change because they want to, and they value you enough to make that shift. If a man knows he can treat you carelessly and still have access to your body, your heart, and your time, why would he ever do more? He won't. Because you've already shown him that he doesn't have to. You have to start taking your own needs seriously. When you say, I don't tolerate disrespect, then don't. When you say, I need emotional availability, then stop settling for men who shut down or disappear. Whenever things get real. When you say, I'm not here to play games, then walk away the first time he treats you like an option. Consistency builds respect. Clarity builds trust. Boundaries build peace. And if you don't set the tone for how you want to be treated, someone else will set it for you, and trust me, it won't be an issue. It's not about being cold, distant, or unapproachable. It's about being clear, firm, and unapologetic about what you will and won't accept. The right man won't be intimidated by your boundaries. He'll be grateful for them. Because a woman who honors herself teaches others to do the same. And if you can't step up, let him step out. You're not here to be anyone's lesson. You're here to be loved right the first time. Your power comes from knowing your worth. Not from how pretty you are, not from how much you give, not from how much you can endure. It comes from that unshakable belief deep inside you that says, I deserve more. And let's be honest, too many women have forgotten that. Somewhere along the line, they were taught that being enough meant being a being flexible, being endlessly understanding. They were told to play it small, to dim their light so others wouldn't feel insecure, to tolerate just a little bit more so they wouldn't be too much. But what happens when you spend your life trying not to be too much? You end up being not enough for yourself. You don't have to be everything to everyone. You don't have to twist yourself into a version of the woman you think he'll like just to be chosen. Because if you have to become someone else just to be loved, that's not love, that's performance. That's a role in someone else's script. And baby, you weren't born to be an extra. You are the main character. You don't need to chase, beg, or convince a man to see your value. The right man will know it from the start. And if he doesn't, that's his loss. When you know your worth, your whole posture changes. You stop settling. You stop over-explaining. You stop staying in places that drain you. You stop giving out chance after chance to men who show you with every action that they aren't ready, they aren't serious, or they just don't care. And it's not because you're bitter, it's because you've grown. You've evolved past the phase where bare minimum efforts impressed you. You're not flattered by attention anymore. You want intention. You want someone who meets your energy, matches your effort, and sees you as a partner, not just a placeholder. A woman who knows her worth is powerful, and yes, that power makes some people uncomfortable. Especially men who want control but not commitment. But that's not your problem. You were never meant to shrink for their comfort. You were meant to rise. And the moment you start walking in that truth, when you stop waiting for validation and start giving it to yourself, you become unstoppable. You stop being afraid of being alone because you finally realize that peace is better than partnership built on pretending. You are not hard to love. You are not asking for too much. You are simply asking the wrong people. So the next time you feel like dimming your light to be accepted, remember, your worth is not determined by someone's ability to recognize it. It's defined by how you carry yourself, how you treat yourself, and how you refuse to settle. You don't need to be softer to be loved. You need to be exactly who you are. That's where your real power lies. So let me leave you with this: being kind, being loving, being loyal. That's beautiful. But being used, overlooked, or disrespected in the name of being nice, that stops today. You don't have to play small to keep a man. You don't have to beg for the bare minimum. You don't have to earn love by breaking yourself into pieces. You are the standard. You are the prize. And from this point on, you don't hand out access to your life, your heart, or your peace to anyone who hasn't earned it. Stop being nice just to be accepted. Be bold. Be clear. Be a woman who knows exactly what she brings to the table and who's not afraid to eat alone until the right one shows up. Because when you know who you are, you stop settling for anything less than what you deserve. And baby, you deserve everything